Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. I am so thrilled to have you here. Look, we are actually skipping the usual preamble and agenda today because we've got some incredibly pressing ground to cover. We are diving straight into the newest edition of the State of the Future 20.0, which basically lays out a comprehensive framework for humanity's entire prospect. So let's just get right into it. We're about to explore the massive global hurdles facing us today, and, more importantly, why tackling them absolutely requires a level of interconnected, synergistic strategy that we have rarely seen before. So, how do we secure the future of humanity? I mean, talk about a massive question, right? The stakes literally could not be higher. This isn't just about isolated issues in isolated countries. It's about the holistic survival and really the thriving of our entire species on this planet. To even begin answering a question that large, we need a map. We have to frame our ultimate goal and understand the full board before we can even think about making a move. And that brings us to Section 1, Mapping Humanity's Future. Answering our opening question is going to require a monumental, totally coordinated effort. Because, let's face it, we simply can't solve what we haven't clearly defined. And clearly defining the challenges of a globally connected world, that takes time, precision, and an astonishing amount of collaborative brainpower. This framework didn't just pop up overnight. These global challenges have been continually updated since their inception back in 1996. What we are looking at today in the State of the Future 20.0 is the result of decades of continuous, grinding research. It's really a living, breathing framework that evolves as our world evolves. To truly appreciate the weight of this framework, I want you to focus on this number for a second: 4,000. This isn't just a casual list brainstormed in a boardroom somewhere. This research represents the direct contributions of more than 4,000 international experts. Through decades of Delphi studies, exhaustive interviews, and rigorous analysis, what we have here is the compiled, distilled wisdom of the global scientific and academic community. And the inputs for this latest 20.0 update are just off the charts. The research draws from the Millennium Project's Work/Tech 2050, Robots 2050, the Future of Life Institute, COVID-19 scenarios, and even artificial general intelligence phases 1 and 2. Drops were reviewed by over 30 top experts, shared with node chairs to get those crucial regional perspectives, enhanced by more than 50 interns, and yes, even refined using AI tools. The methodology here is literally as comprehensive as it gets. All right, let's move into Section 2, the 15 global challenges. To help us grasp the sheer breadth of our situation, we're going to break down exactly what these thousands of experts have identified. First up, we look at environment and resources. These are foundational. Challenge 1 asks how we can achieve sustainable development for all while aggressively addressing global climate change. Challenge 2 looks at how everyone can have sufficient clean water without sparking conflict over it. Challenge 3 is all about bringing population and resources into balance, and Challenge 13 asks how our ever-growing energy demands can be met both safely and efficiently. Basically, these are the planetary baselines we absolutely have to secure. Now that foundational layer builds directly into our next grouping, society and governance. Challenge 4 focuses on genuine democracy emerging from authoritarian regimes without sliding backward. Challenge 7 asks how ethical market economies can actually reduce the massive gap between rich and poor. Challenge 11 identifies the changing status of women as a key driver for improving the human condition. And Challenge 12 confronts the desperate need to stop transnational organized crime from becoming even more sophisticated. The experts frame these societal structures as totally vital to our future. Next, we've got tech and foresight. We are living in an era of unprecedented, rapidly accelerating change. So Challenge 5 asks how we can enhance our decision-making by integrating improved global foresight. Challenge 6 tackles how information tech, AI, big data, and cloud computing can actually work for everyone, not just a privileged few. And Challenge 14 looks at how we can accelerate scientific and technological breakthroughs specifically to improve the human condition. Technology is a major critical puzzle piece here. Finally, we round out the framework with ethics, health, and security. Challenge 8 is about reducing the threats of new and re-emerging diseases as well as immune microorganisms. Challenge 9 asks a big one: how education can make humanity intelligent and wise enough to actually solve these problems. Challenge 10 focuses on shared values and new strategies to reduce ethnic conflicts, terrorism, and weapons of mass destruction. And Challenge 15 asks how ethical considerations can be routinely incorporated into all global decisions. Now, this point is absolutely crucial, so don't miss this. While these challenges are numbered sequentially from 1 to 15, they hold completely equal importance.
Challenge 1, climate change, is not inherently more critical in a vacuum than Challenge 15, global ethics. They represent a totally unified front. You cannot just ignore one so you can focus solely on another.
Which brings us to Section 3, the power of synergy. We've cataloged the challenges, but honestly, simply listing them isn't enough. We have to understand the urgent synthesis required to actually address them. There's this fantastic point captured perfectly by the researchers. No single government or organization can address them independently. Let that sink in for a moment. The era of isolated, localized solutions, it's over. Attempting to fix these massive global hurdles alone, whether you are a superpower nation or a massive multinational corporation, will absolutely fail, no question. So why will isolated solutions fail? Well, because of this web of complexity. You literally cannot fix one issue in a vacuum. Let's trace just one single thread. Sustainable development and climate change, which is Challenge 1, directly impacts our ability to have sufficient clean water, which is Challenge 2. And if we lack clean water, that scarcity directly drives ethnic conflict and security threats, which is Challenge 10. They are a deeply, deeply interconnected web. Tugging on one string moves the entire net. In fact, the source text explicitly defines these 15 global challenges using two very specific words: transnational and interdisciplinary. They cross national borders without asking for a passport, meaning a policy in one country means next to nothing if neighboring countries don't align. And they require expertise from multiple academic and professional fields. You can't just throw a bunch of economists at a problem. You need ecologists, ethicists, technologists, and educators all sitting together in the exact same room. To achieve the synergy this research demands, we need massive, cooperative action across totally diverse institutions. Governments have got to align with international agencies. Businesses must work transparently with academia. Non-governmental organizations need to be in absolute lockstep with ground-level innovators. It's a demand for synergistic cooperation on a scale humanity has rarely achieved, but which is now, frankly, mandatory. Moving on to Section 4, a surprising global consensus. Now, after looking at the sheer, intimidating scale of what is required, you might think getting everyone on the same page is just impossible. But there is a really stark contrast we need to acknowledge here. If you turn on the television or scroll through social media, the narratives usually portray a world of endless, bitter division where nobody agrees on anything, right? But the actual data, compiled from thousands of experts, shows something entirely different. The researchers found that the international consensus on these 15 challenges and their potential solutions is remarkably high. It's far greater than what is typically portrayed in the media. We actually agree on the roadmap much, much more than we realize. So, the challenges are clearly defined. The interconnected web is mapped, and the global consensus among the experts is surprisingly strong. The only missing piece right now is collective, synergistic action. So, I want to leave you with this question. Knowing that this web of challenges requires total synergy across disciplines and borders, how will you contribute to the global consensus? Think about where your unique skills fit into this grand puzzle. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope this leaves you eager to learn more about how we can build a better future together.